welcome to Proper Curious, the podcast for down-to-earth creatives. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Liana, and we're two sisters exploring the world through a curious lens in a quest to live more creatively.
So if you feel like that's you, grab a brew and join us. Hello. Well, we've already said hello, but we're going to say hello again. And this is episode 2. Proper Curious.
Proper Curious.
Which you've probably just listened to the intro, so you know that. But just a few 8 months later, we just had a debate about that. But that is, we're averaging one episode every 8 months. So
times.
At this rate, to get 10 episodes, we're going to be 50. So yeah, we've had an interesting time since the last one, and lots to catch up on. So first of all, let's recap on the last episode.
We went to Cairnholy, Chambers
Ken.
I just always
As we all know. And what were your reflections after being at Cairnholy?
Well,
what was your because obviously you've had months now to digest that. What's your residual thoughts, feelings? What impact has that had on you?
Well, I guess it was really nice because, I really liked... Oh, stop it! We're not starting this again.
Yeah.
Because I really like Joe.
Oh my God.
Holy Joe.
Obsessed.
Mum and Dad recently went to Cairnholy and... I met Holy Joe. He was there.
But...
They had a lovely chat.
Yeah, and it was so nice to see a photo of him. I felt like seeing an old pal, you know?
I think we need to go back.
So my reflections probably were well, I think we should go back on the exact same day, is what we were saying, which is we feel drawn to it, do you know what I mean?
Okay.
My reflections, I think, was just, it was such a magical day. I just think there was something really special about it. I'm not trying to be weird here, but I just felt like it was really magical. I think there was something about those people turning up and the light up there was so beautiful, and the positioning near the sea and the stones. I mean, that's all of my favourite things in one setting. It's unbelievable. I do genuinely feel drawn to it. Anyway, how did this prompt you creatively?
Well, I guess for me, I didn't actually I had big plans that I was I'm going to do a clay sculpture of a hand with
a hand?
A hand, yeah, because I had that, I told you about this, the plaster cast stuff, plaster of Paris. Yeah. And I was going to do a hand sculpture with, and I probably will still do this at some point.
Out now, just a demo.
And then I was going to do the stone circle in the middle of the hand because it felt like we were all being held, and I really love that. And maybe I'll just draw that instead.
No, I really think you should do that.
The clay, yeah. But I was being creative. Yeah. But the other thing was sorting out the digital art for the thingy. Yeah. And then you drew a really nice one in the end.
And we did we based our
that was
logo
creative. And also,
on the stones, didn't we?
And then I started drawing my
picture,
which I'm really proud of.
Yeah, it's really phenomenal. It's absolutely beautiful.
So that's not a picture of the Cairnholy place, but I will draw the
Cairnholy.
No,
but actually the shading and the stone work. It's a picture of
it's an overgrown
Aztec jungle
magical door. But yeah, I started doing that, so I think it has inspired me, and I think it sparked a lot of different routes of thinking off in my brain. I think, in terms of just different avenues to explore, and I've all banked all of them in my head.
She's banked them all. She's
really did.
I have really taken this on. I've embodied a stone. No,
a stone.
So I think I started off when we came back. Me and my pal Reagan were doing painting. We had a day of doing painting. She's bought one of these painting sets, but I painted on my canvas Cairnholy stones, and then afterwards I was it was quite bland. So after I painted it and it dried, I then decided to add a lot of original rock art designs from the Neolithic.
And you'd painted the actual...
Yeah. Painted the actual scene.
Cairnholy
stones, and then painted the rock art on the hill and some of it in the sun. And I loved it. Anyway, I started doing black and white drawings, and then I was basically I just thought,
I love that.
How can I get less... I was using these fine nib pens, and it was taking me absolutely ages. I was how can I speed this up? And then I was maybe I should black paper and stuff. And then it occurred to me, why don't I just use the digital tablet? That would be so much easier. I make the black brown black, and I can have whatever nib of pen I want. It was ideal. So that really set me off, because then I could do it really quickly, and it looks great, and I really enjoy it. And then I did a lino print off the back of that. I've done loads of drawings, and I've incorporated like inspiration. I went to the Isle of Man and looked at the stones there. Been to the Museum of Scotland, where there's lots of rune stones and Neolithic rock art, mainly Neolithic rock art that I love. So yeah, what a journey. So we decided to do for the second episode, runes. Last year I went on a divination course at the Wheel of Fate in Edinburgh, just a little plug there. And I think like what really appealed to me about runes as a divination tool was the connection to our like Norse heritage, and the Orkney connection specifically for me. And then like the readings using your intuition. I think it's like such a tactile thing. Like I love the actual feel of the stones, and the fact that you can have like the gemstone of your choice on the stones that you're using. But I actually have bought really expensive runes, and I actually end up using the clay ones, which is interesting. I prefer them, and I really like started using bind runes, which I know is a bit mad probably, but like you can make a combined rune out of separate runes if you want to like
do a spell.
No, it's basically like positive thinking. It's like basically symbolic thinking.
You were saying that it was prompting your meditation.
It's almost like self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? If you're thinking like, spiritual growth, insight, I don't know.
Manifestation.
Yeah. And then I've got a little round locket that I wear, and I choose little different stones to put in it, symbolising what I intend for myself.
That's so lovely.
And then I put a bind rune in it, and I just feel magical. And then do you know what? When I was ill as well, do you know what she said on the divination course? Is you can draw the bind rune into the top of your drink before you drink it, and imbue the liquid with its powers.
Whoa!
I flipping go for that.
I'm gonna do that next time I've got a frothy pint.
Honestly, I had the flu, and I did it, and
were you healed?
No.
Did you feel really happy?
I felt like a witch, and that was nice.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, so what? I mean, obviously, I brought this to the table, but...
Well, I think I just went with it, because...
But also, it is part of, like, the pagan heritage, isn't it?
Well, I tell you what, this whole journey has made me realise I really don't know a lot.
What about anything?
General knowledge.
But you're very specific on the details of car parks.
No, because I tell you what, I was thinking, right, oh yeah, rune's great, because I like the association with paganism.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that they were like our earliest written language before Latin, right?
Yeah.
But
they weren't.
It's all just such a mishmash. And I've been trying to do some research, and I've just been like reading stuff, and then an hour later been like, I have no idea. There's just, I think what it's shown me is there's such a mishmash of cultures around that time.
Oh, I mean,
and I knew that anyway, but it's really highlighted, like, wow.
And I think we have this, like, I'm not going to get political here, but this, like, view of immigration as being, like, something that's got worse always. But I am not saying that, because I do not think that at all. I think multicultural is good. Just as... But how multicultural was Roman times?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know... people were everywhere all the time, and
yeah.
I think we have this like thing that it was new and people didn't move, and that's absolute nonsense, because we were all over the place. It's a total mishmash of cultures. So what fact I had here was runes were primarily used to represent a sound value, but
which is what we were talking about when we were out today, the phoneme thing.
But they were also used to represent concepts after which they are named. So for instance, one of them is like an ox, and it embodies like the strength of an ox and all that, you know what I mean? The earliest runes were like AD 150, possibly earlier. Though? Tacitus' description of rune use is from AD 98.
Yeah, but where? What? Because there were so many different runes. There was different...
Right here.
There was different alphabets, wasn't there?
Yeah, Elder Futhark was AD 150 to 800. and that's the oldest runic alphabet. But it came from the
so
Phoenician,
that's still after the Romans had been.
but it
that's
stems
during the Roman
from ultimately the
time.
Phoenician alphabet.
Phoenician.
Phoenician. Phoenician. Well, whatever. From Mediterranean. From the Mediterranean.
We are not rune experts, as you can tell. It's been a bit of a mind-blowing one, this, for me. I found it
But then, segueing into the magicalness of runes, there's a 9th century account, apparently. Now, I'm reading info from Nordic Runes by Paul Rees Mountfort, okay? I'm going to be using this book throughout. Thank you, Paul. Very good. For a 9th century account of contemporary Norse practices by a bishop named Harabanus Maurus. Yeah, this bishop is all over the shop. In the context of rune poems, and states that the Norse use the runes to signify their songs, incantations, and divinations. Magic.
Well, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, and the Germanic root word run embodies the idea of mystery and secrecy. And the Gothic runa signifies divine mysteries. And then there's a word called garunai, which translates as consultation or counsel. And Old Norse runa suggests secret law. The Old Saxon runon and High German runen mean to whisper. So they were all about secrets, magic and mystery. And then, I'm just going to tell you about this, but they, obviously, the earliest form that we don't have, they carved them on twigs and sticks and stuff. And then they were called runestaff.
Or is it runestaff?
Runestaff. They were a piece of wood that were often like coloured with blood or ochre, known in the North. By the Old Norse. And Tacitus, the Roman historian, reveals that similar staves were used a lot in the act of casting, like casting your runes, divination ritual, practiced by the German tribes of around the 1st century of the Common Era. And this is what he says. To divination and lot casting they pay the greatest attention. Their method of casting lots is very simple. They lop a branch from a fruit-bearing tree and cut it into slices, which they mark with distinguishing signs and scatter at random without order on a white cloth. Then a priest of the community invokes the gods with eyes lifted to the sky and picks up 3 slices of wood one at a time, interprets them according to the signs previously marked upon them. Which is rune casting, isn't it? And here we are today, still doing the same bloody thing. Which is nice. And that was 98 CE.
Oh, CE, yeah. Well, didn't that lead nicely into a rune casting of our very own? Can you just shake those near the mic just to how nice it's ASMR runes. Oh, that's actually really nice.
I know. Many people have said that when I've done little readings on
You need to get a YouTube channel. Just shake your rune.
That and chewing.
No,
don't chew. That's creepy and weird. So yeah, I've just got this set, and this set is by Ralph Blum, and they're like little ovals of clay with the runes on in like black writing, and I just think they sound really great. They're so tactile.
Into a lovely
pouch,
not tacky at all.
It's got a zip on it. And it's very handy, so just don't even judge. Because they were in a massive box before, and I was like, this is not handy.
Yeah,
I need to take these with me because I need to read my runes on hill.
Well, Dylan was well into it earlier.
Okay,
I'm going to pick one, so I'm not going to look.
Yeah, but you need to think, what does the universe want to say to me today, and really think like this.
What does the universe?
Oh my gosh, she's really going for it. Okay.
Ooh, that's a pretty one. It looks like a sweet.
So, that is a good one. That is Inga's. And that's on page 58.
Are these the clay ones you were saying?
Yeah. Fertility, new beginnings. Ing, the hero god. This rune is akin to the moon, the intuitive part of your nature, with its urge towards harmonising and adjusting in the sphere of personal relationships. Inga's embodies the universal need to share, the yearning to be desired, and to search after similarities. Completion of beginnings. Blah, 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 blah. Joyful deliverance, a new path, a new life. A rune of great power. Receiving it means that you now have the strength to achieve completion, resolution, from which comes a new beginning, Above all, completion is crucial here. It may be timely that you complete some new project now. If so, make that your first priority.
Oh. Well, here we go. I'm doing a new project.
All
my
things
artwork
change.
is sat behind me, and that's a new project.
All things change, and we
All
cannot live
things
permanently
change.
amid obstructions.
Too right.
Emergence from a closed chrysalis state.
I'm gonna blossom.
Huh? You are? You may be trying to free yourself from a rut, habit, or relationship.
I am.
Yeah. Or from
Not
some deep behavioural pattern.
Yeah. Being a perfectionist.
It's a time of movement and a time of change.
It's a time of setting myself free.
It says being centred and grounded, freeing yourself from all the unwanted influences and seeing the humour. You are indeed prepared to open yourself to the will of heaven. That was a bit much. But... Okay.
So you do one. Can I read yours out?
Yeah.
This is like a square little book that's like a pocket guide to runes.
Games with runes.
Consult the ancient oracle. Well, thanks, Ralph Blum, for that.
No way.
Have you picked the same one?
As this morning. Fihu.
Fihu.
Oh, wow. This is so weird.
So seven.
The universe really wants page 68.
I know, I'm just saying. You'll have read this morning then.
Yeah, but I can't remember it. There it is.
Right, so possessions, nourishment, and cattle.
Apparently it's the rune of good luck.
Are they not all in some way a bit of a rune of good luck?
No. Some of them are disastrous.
Oh, goodness me. So it says, Fehu, a rune of fulfillment, ambition satisfied, love shared, rewards received. Fehu promises nourishment from the most worldly to the sacred and the divine. For if the ancient principle, as above, so below, that's a really good oracle.
As above, so below.
Holds true, then we are also here to nourish God.
Yeah.
Or your energy, or universal, you are God. This rune calls for a deep probing of the meaning of profit and gain in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Look with care to know whether it is wealth and possessions you require for your well-being, or rather self-rule and the growth of a will. Another concern of Fehu is to conserve what has already been gained. This rune urges vigilance and continual mindfulness, especially in times of good fortune. For it is then that you are likely to collapse yourself into your success on the one hand, or behave recklessly on the other. So, like, things going good, I'm just going to go wild.
Yeah,
and then
always
destroy yourself. Yeah. Enjoy your good fortune and remember to share it, for the mark of the well-nourished self is the ability to willingness to nourish others. So if you get rich, basically give me some money.
That's good.
I'm joking. I don't really.
No, I'll give my art to the world.
Yeah, you will. Absolutely.
And can I just tell you something funny? So you know Maze Howe on Orkney? So apparently in like 1153, like this Earl Harold and his men were sheltering in there from a storm, and they graffitied. And then at another time, Earl Rognavold and his men were headed into the Holy Land on a crusade and spent their time in Orkney and also graffitied. And some of this graffiti is hilarious. So group of guys huddled up in a storm in a thing. Some of them were going mad apparently. And one of the graffitis is Ingeborg, the fair widow. Many a woman has gone stooping in here.
Oh.
And then another one says, Thorny fucked Helgi. Thorny fucked, Helgi carved. This is often toned down in the official guidebooks.
Whoa.
And then one of them says, these runes were carved
That's crazy
by
that the F word goes that far back.
Yeah.
The F word.
So we know what Vok is in runic, you know?
That's crazy.
These runes were carved by the man most skilled in runes in the West Ocean with the axe that Golka Trandelson owned in the south of the land, Iceland.
Yeah.
So they came from Iceland, where he'd like done in that guy and used his axe to carve the runes.
I am just like the best at writing runes.
And then there's one again about women. Ingigirth is the most beautiful of all women, carved alongside a rough drawing of a slavering dog.
Yeah, it was just like a way of writing, really, wasn't it?
It was.
But also because the belief systems back then were so prominent, I guess.
Okay, so basically we're just going to talk for a tiny little bit, because we've talked loads about them while we were there, but about the places we went today. We went to Bewcastle Cross and we went to Ruthwell, which are both sites in, well, one of them's in Cumbria, one of them's in Scotland.
Yeah.
So, but they're only like an hour apart.
From one to the other,
and they're both like 7th century carved crosses on church sites.
Crosses.
With
runes written on them.
Yeah, of dual faith. Christianity.
Mostly Christian.
Christian, yeah, but it brings in elements of like the Norse beliefs, because they have the Norse myth carvings on them. So do you want to talk a bit about Bewcastle Cross? Because I've got more about Ruthwell.
We went to Bewcastle, which is like in the middle of nowhere. It really is.
It really is.
Beautiful scenery. It's near where we were at Forgotten Lands Festival last week.
Yeah.
At Maddie Pryor's Stone's Barn. So basically this one is a Christian cross. It's the top of it is missing.
Yeah.
But it's really tall and it's in its original position, which is cool. There is also a replica of this one in Rhea Church. So that's pretty interesting. But it includes imagery of like Christ and some of the saints on the side.
And Yggdrasil.
And
Yggdrasil,
the World Tree of Heathen Cosmology, which was kind of similar to the other one. But yeah, the carvings of the kind of Christ figures is very much like as you would see them with the halo around their head. Christ riding two beasts, kind of representing, well, there's different theories about that, two beasts.
Or like squashing them down.
Squash like that. That makes me have a really funny image of a head. St. John the Baptist holding an oil lamp and a lamb, and then the base is St. John the Evangelist with an eagle.
Eagle, yeah. Could hardly see that actually.
And then there's like checkerboard designs, Celtic knotwork. It's really beautiful.
It is
really
beautiful.
Well preserved as well. And it's in its original position, which is quite exciting. There's a lot of history around. There's a beautiful little museum next to it as well.
Yeah.
The church was open. That had some interesting stuff.
It was on the site of like
old Roman settlement.
Yeah.
But also before that there was prehistoric
settlement there.
Settlement.
So for some reason they just all
and
went
then there was also
this middle of nowhere.
Bewcastle. Castle.
Castle. The castle of beautiful castle.
They're just total ruins. The other thing, it also on what I thought was lovely about this one is that it has a sundial carved onto it, which is the oldest stone carved sundial in Britain, but that was added at a later date.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Don't know.
I think do you know what struck me is like when we were studying that graveyard and you've got the Neolithic settlement that was there, and then the Iron Age. You could see slight earthworks, but we couldn't work out if they were the Roman bits or what was happening there, or burial mounds or what, I don't know. I think it was the Roman bit, because when I went to have a little look, there was massive stones sticking out. But anyway, in the graveyard, the church is really old. Obviously been altered loads through time. And the gravestones were like medieval, then into the 7th century, then even some recent ones, then soldier ones.
Higgledy-piggledy, the church
and then you've
itself.
got that continual human action for like thousands of years, 1,000 years. When we just stood there, I was like, it's just mad.
Yeah.
Here we are. It's just one of
really
those things, isn't it?
There's a really mural inside the museum as well that an artist's done. That's like a painting of like
a farmer,
all of the different parts of the past coming together.
Looking back on his past,
really lovely.
It was beautiful actually.
At this point in the podcast, I think we flip to have a listen at us out in the field. Right, so here we are at Bewcastle Cross. So Bewcastle, Cumbria.
Yes.
Is it?
Oh, we don't know. Well, we're either on the border between Cumbria and Northumberland, and we're in literally the middle of nowhere, a field. It's very rolling hills, and we've found a churchyard. So we're just looking a bit further at the cross, and one thing we thought that was quite interesting is that it's like on the borderlands of Scotland, and it's quite close to Hadrian's Wall. And one of the interesting things about the cross is that it's from a period of dual faith, so like the pagan and the Christian at the same time. Like one side of it's got like Christian iconography and some references to like pray for them and their sins, etc. in runes, which is obviously from the pagan, and the other side of it is a really intricate carving of like the world tree with ravens in. That was obviously a reference to Odin and his wisdom. Because I was reading this morning like Viking quotes, and one of the popular Viking quotes was "Take wisdom from wherever you can," and they said that Odin took wisdom even from his ravens or crows.
Oh, that's cool.
And then it says that the translation was basically about that it was a monument to Alkfirth, a son of King Oswiu.
Yeah, so I've got the translation here of the runes. So if we're thinking this is from the 7th or 8th century, this cross.
Yeah.
So over like 1,400 years old. It's ridiculous. So obviously when the country was split into kingdoms.
Yeah.
So it says apparently... I'm not going to try the original runes. This bekan thunna satan hlatred. No, that's terrible. It says, this slender pillar, hlatred, Wagar, and Alfwold, set up in memory of Alkfrith, a king and son of Oswy. Pray for their sins, their souls. Yeah, so kings, I guess.
Yeah, they united
King
and ruled the early kingdoms of Deria with Bernicia, which together formed Northumbria.
Alfred was the king
Yeah.
of Northumbria and died around 664.
Died around 664.
I heard that
So it's just a monument. It's not like that they're buried under there.
no, I think it's like, we read somewhere that it was them kind of like putting their name on the area, because it is really in the middle of nowhere.
Anyway, next stop, we're going to go inside the church and actually see what we can discover. Well, it's really old.
Rach, look at Jesus. Look at Jesus' eyes. She's not looking.
Yeah.
Look at his eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. So the stained glass window looks like they have taken images from the cross and basically replicated those images in colour on the window. We've got Christ riding on the two beasts. I do have £1. Just one sec. Rach is buying stuff from the gift shop at the back. She was getting very excited about a bag, but it's actually just an apron. So, and then on the third window, you've got, looks like the kind of Celtic sort of knotwork, but it's brambles by the looks of it. Raspberries? Maybe.
The thing I'm wondering is why Jesus has a scroll in his hand.
Is it maybe the
like
word
the
of God?
It's not like the 10 Commandments, because that was written down on stone tablets.
Yeah.
But, so...
Maybe it represents that. Maybe, do you think?
Do you think it's rude if I open the packet to look at the detail?
Yeah, I think it is.
It's only phone.
It'll probably be the knotwork pattern, and then it
beautiful.
says Bewcastle underneath.
Shall I buy it?
I don't know.
I like detail.
And then his eyes are like weird.
Oh, they look like the sundial. So it's basically circles, but with another circle in the middle, and then it's just got lines coming all out.
Look at there.
Represent the...
Dude.
There's a tapestry at the back of the church of St. Cuthbert, and the way that it actually looks, it reminds me of like, you know when you used to play old computer games, it's sort of pixelated.
Bloody evil, isn't it?
So it made me think of like a St. Cuthbert pixelated game, like EcoQuest, or like, what was the other one we used to play? Monkey Island, when it was pixelated before it got updated.
So where is that? Oh, that's
So funny.
Sorry.
St. Cuthbert, and the quest is to convert everyone to Christianity. Anyway, what's funny, look, Rach, look at this. God spake these words. God spake these words and said...
Yeah, that's the old English.
Wow. Spake.
I think what fascinates me about runes is that they're symbolic. Like, it's, well, not only were they like, what's it called, a phenome? What did you call it? Phenome?
A phoneme.
Phoneme.
So...
Like the sound, but they were based on like, there's like a rune, it's like an ox. I can't remember what it's called, but is it Fihu? And it's like, it was based on a symbolic thing. So it represented like strength, power, like hard working. Like it wasn't just like oh, we're writing words now. It was a symbol of something that meant something. So if you carve that, you believe that you're imbuing yourself with powers of that nature. Originally, which is such an interesting idea. Like Big John, he's like strong like an ox, you know, and then that would be in his name.
When it became the alphabet, it was originally phonemes.
Yeah.
So phonetic. That's like where that written
etymology.
No, it's a sound. So phonemes, I guess, in school when we're teaching that is like you'd have the sound E.
Bagum.
E. And like O and like I, it was IDH.
F.
So it's the sound that then makes up the words. So it would be a sound. Rather than letter, it didn't have a letter name. You're saying the runes were phonemic. Phonemic? They were phonemes. I guess we don't. We do. I really, really need a wee.
So now we'll move on to Ruthwell. And yeah, when we were there, so we just arrived, we were absolutely desperate for Pete. And can I just say, the situation in Cumbria/Dumfries, the route that we went, is an absolute scarcity of shops and toilets. I mean, we really are in nowhere. We had honestly held our peas for like 3 hours, so just bear this in mind when you're listening to that. Cause
I tell you what we did do, though. I sat nav to take us to an honesty box full of cakes.
Oh, that was so good, yeah.
And that was really good.
Because we actually missed it because we went straight to the honesty box.
About them, they were all sliced in the same size. I really thought that was satisfying. So there was like school cake, Mars bar cake.
Okay, let's not
cakes. They were £1 each.
This is like the road sign situation all over again. Okay, so Ruthwell.
I had some change, it was fine.
Ruthwell has the second cross, which actually was in bits, like until the 1600s.
Yeah, it's been smashed up.
Oh my god.
No, let me say this word that I wrote down because it's a really good word. So it was smashed up after the Reformations by the Presbyterian iconoclasts in 1640.
Iconoclasts.
Have I merged your words together there?
Presbyterian iconoclasts.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They didn't like the iconography, but here we are. So yeah, it was very similar.
I love that word.
In having like the Christian iconography and also then the World Tree or the Yggdrasil or whatever it was, the same. Mm-hmm. However, the church had like 3 wings, didn't it? Well, I'll let that happen in the clip, but it was just a beautiful building. I actually felt really calm in there. And behind the cross was 3 stained glass windows, one of which really drew my attention because it was just beautiful. Like the way that the ink had been etched on the faces was amazing. And this one was a St. Hilda.
Different to the stained glass windows that were in the first church in St. Cuthbert's.
Oh yeah, he had like
weird
Jesus
eyes.
with, like crazy eyes.
I mean, we all heard that in the recording, but
I think we should make the cover of this one Jesus' eyes because it was just one.
They were like psychedelic eyes.
Yeah, maybe it's put a spell on her. So St. Hilda was the niece of King Edwin, right? Mm-hmm. And in 633, Northumbria was overrun by the pagan king of Mercia and King Edwin fell in battle. Okay? Meanwhile, Hilda was the abbess, like a nun, at Whitby Abbey.
Yeah.
And so on her robe in the church, she had ammonite fossils all over her robe, which drew my attention at first because I was like, what is going on here? Because
that's interesting.
I love runes. It's connected
What's
to
like
Orkney.
embroidered?
I also
love
Whitby. When I lived in York, it used to be my special place. We used to go camping there every weekend, and I love Whitby. But no, they were drawn onto the stained glass window of her gown.
Oh, right.
And she's often pictured with the ammonites.
Like she was wearing it.
Because she was, there's a legend, because obviously before they knew what fossils were, of her turning serpents to stone. And that's what she was associated with the miracle.
I talk about that in my school session.
Anyway, St. Hilda.
That's why they're called snake stones as a nickname.
Yeah. Also went to Lindisfarne. Lindisfarne was settled by people from Iona as well. The people that carved the cross, the Ruthwell Cross, were coming from Iona. Which is interesting. But she's also the patron saint of learning, culture and poetry. And the Ruthwell Cross is believed to be the result of the mission by Ceolfrith and Bede to King Nectan in 710. And the cross features Caidamon's poem, The Dream of the Rood. It says it in the runes on the cross.
Yeah.
Which is linked to St. Hilda. St. Hilda had Caedamon become a brother in her abbey. So, the people who carved that were, literally connected. Bede was there, hanging out. And the cross was carved, linked to St. Hilda, all the way who'd been to Iona, Lindisfarne, Whitby, all the places that mean things to me, all this time ago. I just don't know, it's just freaky. I love fossils as well. And elements of the carving on the Ruthwell Cross come from the cultural elements present at Iona, Whitby, Lindisfarne and Jarrow, because they're a glorious mixture of Irish, Anglo-Saxon and Byzantine styles, which was also reflected in Bede's writing. I just thought, wow.
Isn't that such a mishmash of places, though, as well?
Yeah. And it's from, Hilda's Whitby Abbey that missionaries went to Christianise the Celts, hence that whole mission and them going to Ruthwell. Also,
on the top of the Ruthwell Cross, because the actual cross part at the top was still there, and it is amazing. It's they've had to lower the ground in the church, haven't they, so that it fits in. So there's steps down to it, which I was like, this is amazing. It's really tall. I don't know how tall it is. Do we have any?
18 foot.
18 foot. And the cross part is still there at the top, and it has a beautiful sun on it.
Yeah, on one side it's got a triangle, just a blank triangle in the centre of the cross. And on the other side it's got the sun, which obviously was very significant for pagans. And then obviously the reverse is the triangle, which is obviously very Christian.
Yeah, with the Trinity.
But there is actually 3 roots as well of the world tree, the Yggdrasil, which is interesting because the world tree is supposed to link between heaven and earth, and it's just funny that went all the way up the side on the both. And that you've got this triangle at the top as well.
But then it did say as well, I guess they will have been incorporating pagan stuff into it because that's how it became a success.
It was just such a merging
because
of
they were
cultures.
right, we're trying to... And I think possibly consciously okay, we're going to adopt a little bit of what's yours, because we know that from the celebrations, the key celebrations, don't we? Anyway, Easter and Yule and all
wasn't
that.
There just a period of time though, do you know when the Romans were conquering into the pagan Britain as well, there was a period of time where it was when Rome was being converted to Christianity. There was a period where people in Rome also then they wanted to worship their existing pagan gods, but they also had the Christianity. So for a period of time, there was lots of home altar sets found. We can see them in Herculaneum and Pompeii, which have Christian iconography in the cabinets as well as the pagan gods. It was they were wanting to keep all the bases covered and just make sure I get them all in. Thank you, Jesus, and also thank you to the other 6,000 we're worshipping. But it's just, I think there's a period of time, a change, and nobody knows really what.
But I guess it wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been.
We need to have a good
quick though, would it?
Have a good harvest.
Hundreds of years of this change.
Oh yeah.
And then this is why runes, we've kind of got a bit. I guess it is very, very tied in, but this is why runes eventually got fizzled out, wasn't it? Because Christianity.
Yeah, it's just how languages change, through time.
But it was interesting because the poem that is on it, which is that Dream of the Rood, is a Christian poem, but there is some theories that originally that wasn't so much of a Christian poem and it was changed to be Christian.
Yeah.
I don't know where I read that, but I made a note about that.
I don't really know either.
But I thought that was interesting. And it's just this kind of Christians coming over, the monks coming over and just trying to incorporate pagan stuff to make it a little bit softer and convert people. Which I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest.
So wrapping up, we're probably going to listen to now some clips of us, or we have just listened to it.
So we've got the key to the church that another local's given us.
And we're just opening the door to the church now. Got some brass, metal hinges. I go inside.
Right, so
We're in the middle of Ruthwell Church, and it's quite an unusual church, isn't it? Like the layout.
It's just quite bright. It's pastel colours on the walls. They've painted yellow, like a pastel yellow, pastel blue, pastel sort of like pink, dusky pink colour. It's gorgeous, actually.
I was going to say it has like 3 wings.
Well, it's shaped in a cross, isn't it?
The seating's facing from each of the 3 sides to a focal point in the middle. There's part of a poem on the cross from the Holy Rune, A Dream, written in the 7th century, and it's seen in runic text, so it's in runes. Do you want me to read a bit of it out?
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit of it. Girded him then, God Almighty, when he would step on the gallows for all mankind, mind fast, fearless, bow me durst I not, rude was I reared now, rich king heaving, the lord of light realms, lean me I durst not. Us both they basely mocked and handled, was I there with blood bedabbled, gushing grievous from his dear side, when his ghost he had unprerendered. He had up-re-rendered. Oh, God. Yeah, that's quite different language, isn't it? So it's actually one of the first, it's like actually one of the most important monuments. It's even more important than the cross we just saw. It's got depictions of various scenes from the Bible, like Mary Magdalene washing Jesus' feet, the healing of the blind man, the Annunciation, John the Baptist. But then
John the Baptist was on the other one as well.
The Angles, who carved out the kingdom of Bernicia, were pagans, worshipping gods like Woden, similar to Odin of Norse mythology. All this changed, however, when in 635 AD, 2 brothers, Oswald and Husby, returning from exile at the monastery on the holy island of Iona, reclaimed their kingdom and brought the Gaelic missionaries with them. And that's who the previous cross was attributed to. So, since the 6th century, the Angles had slowly been pushing westwards to the Solway and the rich trade routes of the Irish Sea. Oswy, of the previous cross fame, furthered this expansion, taking the lands around Ruthwell as far as Galloway from the Britons in the mid-7th century. The Ruthwell cross is a symbol of the Angles' control of this area, but also their Christian faith and cultural contacts. The cross stands 5.2 metres tall and is beautifully carved with sophisticated imagery. It was probably erected in the reigns of King Aldfrith or Osred around 700 AD, and it would originally stood outside the Anglican church.
So on here, this side panel thing just says that the sides of it are showing curling vines filled with birds and other animals eating fruits, and they're surrounded by runic inscriptions containing the part of the Old English poem The Dream of the Holy Rune, in which the cross itself describes the events of the crucifixion.
It's interesting because it was originally painted in really vivid colours. So it's just been this like bland stone. And I think what's interesting is the sun there. Obviously, like that was significant beautiful in pagan times, but now we've got like the triangle on this side representing, well, what must be Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and then the Son of God and the Lamb of God. Yeah.
Rooster?
A rooster.
Of God.
That's symbolic. What's that?
And there's a really cool chair. Have you seen this chair?
I'm gonna get some rubbings of it actually.
It's kind of creepy.
I'm gonna get some rubbings.
Right, well, I'm taking a picture of this chair. Okay.
So I was just looking at the Historic Scotland information about it, and it was saying about folklore and legend. The cross has also been the focus of local folklore and legend. According to one legend recorded in the early 19th century by Henry Duncan, it was washed up fully carved on the shores of the Solway after a shipwreck, while according to others it was originally erected near the seashore at Priestside, around a mile from its present position, only later moved to the church area. Latin and runic, that's just so rare, isn't it? That early. And it's in Old English, which is quite interesting, I think.
Why?
Because it's just such a different way of speaking.
Yeah, but that's how our language developed, isn't it? So that is
I know, but it's so old.
English. It sounds really pretty when you listen to it. We've got a recording of someone saying the Father's Prayer in Old English that we use for school groups.
It's very possible that the Ruthwell cross once held a relic of the true cross, perhaps in the cavity at the centre of the Annunciation panel.
Mm.
Do you know what that means?
No, I didn't. Sorry, I wasn't listening. I was reciting
a relic of the true cross. They think that it once held a relic of the actual cross of Jesus Christ.
Wowzers. I mean, anything's possible.
I just find it amazing. I think what I really love about this cross is the connection with Iona, because there's a painting by, I actually think it is Henry Duncan that my painting's by, and it's got two angels flying over the sea from Iona carrying St. Bridget, and just like thinking that like in the 7th century these guys were just travelling down, expanding their kingdom, having come from such like mystical lands and then past Iona and all the legends associated with that, just blows my mind. Like the lengths and breadths they've travelled, and like such a merging. It's such a merging of like Christianity and then pagan beliefs, and it's just so much more magical thinking than we have nowadays, isn't it? Like the symbology in this, from pagan and Celtic, and then you've got like Christian elements. It's just mad. It's just all on it, all over the place.
Yes.
And then just to have all the different languages on one thing.
It's like if we've completely lost that way.
It's almost like at the
around.
crossroads of ancient and modern, isn't it? That's what it is, the turning point. The runic language is not it's not on
Western
much. We've not got many examples of it written on things.
No.
Compared to Latin's everywhere, but like it's like almost like the dying days of
the lost language of pagan times.
Yeah. God, that was got so deep there. I just can't believe myself. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Hello. So, Dylan, what are your first impressions of this Ruthwell cross?
Well, it's just nice to see that people in that time period were still like creative, and they didn't just like go like, all right, here's some stone, we're just gonna write it down and not do anything on it, we're just gonna write it down. But I like that they've actually gone and done drawings that represent what they're talking about, as well as writing what they're
Why do you think it's important to have pictures as well as writing?
Because helps explain, for one. Yeah. 2, it's interesting, and 3, sometimes it's fun to do. So,
can you spot a figure above the two that look like they're kind of hugging each other? Have you spotted what figure is above them, below the triangle?
Someone aiming an arrow.
Yeah, it is. I did notice that. Have you noticed that, Rach?
Yeah, the hunter.
The hunter. It says it's an unexplained. I wonder what that's about. But it looks like it's aiming up to the dragon or the serpent.
And then that's facing.
And then there is something at the top, isn't there? A raven or something.
And then the dragon is facing to the triangle, which is then pointing upwards to the top. Maybe this is some sort of ancient riddle.
Do you think that represents the Vikings? That reminds me of a Viking boat.
Yeah.
Longship.
Longship?
What?
The one on the right.
What?
The dragon.
The dragon on the right looks like, to me,
yeah,
the
that's
shape
what
of a
it is.
Viking
That's why.
longship.
Well, they were Vikings.
Well, Vikings were around at the same time, weren't they? But they aren't.
They were coming from there.
Yeah, but Anglo-Saxons aren't Vikings. They're different people.
But the king was, that was conquering it. That they're dedicated to. That was pushing and conquering Northumbria.
Anyway, I just love this side with the creatures. Various different animals, like, what even are these animals? Had they seen these animals that they were drawing? Because like that, I don't even know what that is. It's like a monkey with a fish tail, with a donut ear.
It just makes you wonder if they had seen animals.
Well, if they're people who have come in from different, far across the continents, they'll have descriptions probably of different animals, won't they, that they've seen on their travels or whatever. And whoever's carved this may not have seen those. There's a big hole down there. Wow.
I think they had to do that to fit in the roof.
No, I mean in the actual side of the stone.
Oh.
No, I lived in a hole in the ground. Do you know what I think they should do with this? Fill it with water.
Yeah, I thought that.
And they should have like you could bathe in the water of the Ruthwell Cross.
Oh,
be transformed.
Yeah, but wouldn't that hurt the statue?
Probably would.
It
That's
would
not.
biodegrade and then it would fall over and smash someone.
Do you know what? You're already a blooming historian, Dylan. You're already a curator.
This is really interesting because you've got. It's just random because I'm thinking that the dragon on the left-hand side represents like the Vikings coming to invade, because the Anglo-Saxons, well, the monks that were living on Lindisfarne at the time when they got attacked by Vikings, thought that God was angry at the people on the land for not being Christian enough, in a way, and like that was sent as a punishment from God. And on the back, there's like some sort of weird
Chicken?
There's a hen, like it's like a hen,
It's a rooster,
chicken rooster,
and a lamb.
It could mean like eggs, and then we eat eggs, circle and everything. Life, death.
Well, I guess that's a food chain, isn't it?
Yeah, but life, death. Because you get like, they lay the egg,
We eat it.
and then we
We
eat
get life. They get death.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. This is getting a bit morbid.
So the rooster
Oh, here we go.
is symbolic in Christianity because God used it to show the weakness of man with Peter, the triumph of Christ, Peter's denial of Christ. Remember when it said you've got this many times till the cock crows? And if you
Don't remember
deny
that story.
Christ until the cock crows, then I don't know, something about it.
You'll go to hell.
How do you think you'll use this for the next 8 months? Creatively. No, hopefully we will not be doing that. But
Well, we haven't talked about the necklaces.
oh yeah,
Rach has already been very creative.
I actually have. What I bought is like, what do you even call this shape? Like,
There's a Dungeons and Dragons name for this type of dice.
it's like a multifaceted ball.
It's like a dodecahedron.
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 I don't know.
I think that might be it.
And it's made out of wood and it's got a hole in it. So I thought that'll be a good necklace. And I used the wood burner to burn. What's it called?
Carve?
Pyrography.
I don't know.
Pyrography. Runes onto it. So it's got 12 sides. So Liana's I put Lil Mark Dillon, because that's her husband and son. And on mine I put Rach Aileen. That's my wife. And
Do you know what's weird though? Is before Rach gave me these, and I didn't know that she was doing this, I made a pot when I was doing clay with Dylan and some
so
friends.
you already have done it creatively.
And I wrote runes
Yeah.
onto my pot that said Liana Mark Dillon. And then now Rachel's given me a necklace that says Lil Mark Dillon.
So I think going forward, what I am intending to do is I was thinking of doing... I really like the idea of doing some kind of pendants and things. But today when we were on the beach, we went to
Powfoot
Beach
It was very
afterwards.
stormy.
It was very stormy. We got actually wet through and Liana weed on her trousers. But like not from just... Not like weed
We
as
needed a
well.
wee.
Just like was having a nature wee.
I was having an HOE, but I had flappy trousers on.
I'm glad you said fluffy trousers, not fluffy. Anyway, I picked up loads of flat, little, tiny, round stones, and I want to make my own rune set out of like important stones from places that I've been. That'd be really
Will you
cute.
use your... How will you carve on them?
I can paint on them, but I've also got a stone engraver, so I could do that.
Oh, do that.
Because them ones are stone engraved and then like coloured in.
Yeah, do that. That'll look better.
I just think that'd be really nice.
How much was your stone engraver? I might get one.
I think it was only about £21.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't.
I think I am going to try and just do some. Basically, I'm really into like using fine ink pens and doing like line art.
Line art.
Different types of.
Oh, line art.
Line art. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Or just black
Drawing.
and white, just ink drawings. I guess using different like stippling or just
you could really draw one of those crosses really well.
So many people have done that though. Yeah. But yeah, I need to just. I'm going to keep it small so that it's manageable.
Why don't you just do a
really
tiny
nice
little?
I've got this really nice paper that I got from Rigged.
Why don't you do a tiny little card?
So I might just do a little something with the runes.
Rune drawing.
Or just even a bit of a section of the cross that I find. Like the sun was beautiful. I really like the sun.
I really like the sun. I was thinking that's going to be why.
Dylan had some interesting ideas about the things around it as well.
Yeah, and I think it would be also nice to carve it on twigs.
Like they used to do.
Yeah.
Leave little messages.
Anyway, we'll catch up and see what we've done. So, until next time.
Ta-ta for now.
Stay creative.
Be proper curious.
Do you know what? Be proper curious, because that has been phenomenal. I would not have read that about Saint Hilda if I had not need to talk about this.
Well, I have just... It's made me realise how much I need to learn.
But you have learned.
Well, I have learned a bit, yeah.
Yeah? All right. Well,
bye.
Thanks for hanging out, spending your time this way. Ta-ta.